Hey guys, today we are going to be propagating this very long Cebu blue Pothos. I will be propagating it and dividing it because I'm gifting 2 of them to a close friend. So let's get to it. If you're new here, I want to welcome you. My name is Sarah. On my channel, we talk about all things houseplants, container gardening, urban gardening, and I am no expert by any means. I've been growing plants for a while, but I'm not an expert. If you have any tips along the way or things that you've done, always put them in the comments below because we're always all learning things. So stick around and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out. Alright guys, so to give a backstory on this Cebu blue, I got this a 1.5 years ago. I think I've repotted this once before and it's just gone a little nuts and has gotten really leggy. I've actually had it outside under a shade tree. I kind of neglected it for a while, and as you can see, like this end part here seems a bit bushier than this middle part here because this part was when I started bumping up the care, bumping up the fertilizer I was giving it, so you can tell where it was doing much better. So I'm actually going to be dividing this up and sharing this plant with a friend. I'm going to fill both of these with, hopefully to make it nice and full and have a few draping, and then I'm sure I'm going to have plenty left over, so I'll divide them up into these and also probably do some propagation in this propagation box. The tools I'm going to use today are just a sterile knife if I need to cut through any roots, also some sterile scissors to trim this massive messy hair down. So the first thing I'm going to do is trim a lot of this back and make it to where I do have some trailing on here, but it's just not so much to deal with because it's all tangled. It's just a mess. She's a little crazy right now. So I'm going to just pretty much choose a length and I'm just going to cut it all off. So here we go. It might be a little uneven, but it'll be all right. I'd say that's a hair trim. Do they have lots of love for plants? Because I would say that I've got enough here. Do anybody need a plant wig? Yeah. Ooh, what's that? Bug carcass. I'm going to set these off to the side here, so I'm going to unwind it. Oh! Mr. Lizard. There's a lizard in my plant. Let's see if I can catch him. I'm going to let him outside. He normally lives, I forgot, this little guy's been living on this plant for a while. I probably should have checked it before I brought it in. I'm so sorry, you're gonna lose your home. Let's go take him outside. All right, so now I'm going to attempt to take this thing out of its pot. It's been in here for a while. This thing is so wound, I'm just gonna cut it. It gonna have to go. Ooh, it is a tangled mess. Well, I don't know what's going on with the roots, but we're just gonna have to dig in and see. Thankfully, this pot has a removable hanger, so that is going to make things a whole lot easier. All right, let's see what we're dealing with here. I always squeeze the pot and it helps break the soil away from the pot. I do see some roots in the bottom. They're not coming out yet, but we're just going to see what we're dealing with. I hope I can just pull it out. Oh, there we go. Oh my, yeah, a little bit root bound. See here. I'm going to untangle a lot of these, and so that way we can try to preserve as much of the root system as possible. But some roots are just going to be broken off, and that's just a part of the process. Do you guys have a hard time doing this sort of work with your plants, or does it feel good because you know it's good for them? I personally really like doing this, even though I should probably do it more often than I really do it just because of time. It just doesn't happen. So I really like doing this because then I like seeing it thrive after. So now I'm going to just start kind of breaking the root ball apart. Oh wow, I can actually feel where the original root ball was. There's a definite difference in how compacted the soil is. I don't know if that's just because of how long it's been in there or if it's because I used a different type of soil than what it came in originally. I originally got this at Walmart of all things and for a really good price. I don't remember how much, but I think it was 10 or 15. And it was big. It was a big, beautiful bushy at that time. So it was a really good find. This is kind of a labor of love. Just untangling, getting the soil decompacted, decompressed, decompacted, whatever. I don't know what the word is. Now is the time. I'm gonna break this out because the soil is just so compact, and I'm just gonna cut straight down the middle. Oh my heavens, this is gonna be fun to take apart. I have it in 2 pieces, but all the foliage is tangled up together, so it's just gonna be a process. So between like the Marble Queen, the Enjoy, the Cebu Blue, the Golden Pothos, Satin Pothos, which one is your favorite? Put it in the comments below. I think mine's the Enjoy, and I finally got one. I don't spend a whole lot of money on plants. I have a pretty tight budget for myself for plants, and I don't really do the rare plants unless I just come across one, like someone's willing to share some with me or whatever, but I personally am not going to spend an arm and a leg or donate my kidney for a plant. I really enjoy them, but I don't necessarily like plants just because they're rare. I don't know, it's just not my thing. I definitely like plants that look very jungly and kind of abstract. Like the ZZ plant's very vertical. All the Pothos are very jungly. The Rapidopera tetrasperma is really jungly, and I just love that. And we've got one here and one here. And as I tease this out, hopefully it'll get rid of any of the roots that weren't really doing much or aren't connected. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna trim these roots. I know it's controversial, but I'm gonna do it. There. So the potting soil that I have is actually from a local source. You buy it by the truckload full. I don't have a truck. I have a Highlander, Toyota Highlander. And so I had to take just lots of trips with totes, and I filled up, I don't know, like 10 totes. This is gonna need to get even smaller. So I guess I'm gonna cut this down even more. There's a little bit of soil in the bottom of my pot, and I'm going to try to fill in as I go. I want these pots to be both trailing and bushy, so I'm trying to leave some room where I can do single propagations in these to fill up the top part of this. It's a little bald on top. I'm gonna take from the bottom because it's the healthiest. I'm going to start filling in this bald top with single cuttings. And they will propagate on their own. They might wilt a little while, but I'm not giving this to her right away. I'm gonna let it get established and growing well. This friend has a newborn, so last thing she needs to be doing is trying to make sure that the propagation gets off to a good start. I have these single leaves here, but I'm always remembering to keep a node there. If there's no node, it will not grow roots. Just start sticking them in. I just found ants in my soil. Nope, don't like that. Poop. Ugh, I don't want dealing with ants. These have some really good aerial roots, so these I think will root off really well. And I'm just sticking them in everywhere. I've got the first one finished. I might go back and trim some things up, but for now, I think I'm okay with that. It's very like long and cascadey and bushy. happy with this one. I definitely like the other one more, but I'm gonna give these a really good soak and keep them moist because of all the cuttings that I have in here. It needs to stay pretty moist and preferably pretty humid. Now onto the bigger one. I'm just gonna take the rest and put it in this pot here. Keep this one here with me. All right, yeah, I'm gonna backfill, bury some of this. Hopefully I'm not getting ant eggs. Ooh, yuck. Now, as you can see, this half here is very empty. This side's very traily, so I'm gonna fill this in and then do just a bunch of cuttings. I'm gonna pack it as much as I can. And I'm gonna show you a little trick with the cuttings. Instead of cutting the piece of these very short, I like to make one side a little bit longer than the other. And instead of laying them flat, I use this as a spear and I spear it straight down into the pot here. And the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to line the outside of the pot with cuttings and then work my way in from there. It just makes it easier because if you try to start in the middle, the leaves cover up what you're doing and it's a little bit more difficult to see what's going on. So I made this side pretty bushy, and I will hopefully set up a grow light that's going to shine real nicely right here and encourage a lot of bushy growth on top, because a lot of times when you're putting a trailing plant on the top of a bookshelf, the trailing part is getting sun, but the very top part does not, and then you end up with a bald top, and then eventually that means bald trailing. So it's a really good idea to, if you have it in a dark spot where the top is not getting a whole lot of light, to supplement light with a grow light. And the type of grow light I have is just worked into like a regular light fixture. It's not pink or anything. So I can just put a hook in the ceiling and hang it and it will shine on it. So here is this finished product. I definitely like this one. This one's nice and bushy. It's a little scraggly, but between regular watering and also some more fertilizer, it's going to bush up really nicely. So from that one plant, I have 2 small trailing plants and 1 larger one. And I still have a ton of leaves that can be propagated. And I will be able to put a lot of those in my propagation box right here, which my propagation box at the moment is kind of full. I'll go ahead and let you have a sneak peek. I've got Cebu blue, I've got my air plant in there, and I'm terrible with air plants, so I figured it would do better in my terrarium type setting. I might put more Cebu blue in there. It's pretty packed already, or who knows, maybe I'll just make another propagation box. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. That's my main thing. I want it to be helpful. If you liked this video or found it helpful, please hit the like button. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and hit the dislike button. That's okay. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. See you next time, guys.